Welcome and Rhino to today's Sabassembler. Today I'm standing in front of you here with this huge box next to me, the XM Studios Rhino, which is no surprise. I mean, it's a huge character Rhino, as we all know, but this thing is huge and is extremely heavy. It seems like a one-layer box. And just before we continue, just want to say thank you again to all my fellow collectors and sub-assemblers for your support. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the like button. Definitely don't forget to subscribe to get more subscribers so none of you miss out some of the awesome unboxings I have here for you. So as I said, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, coming back to the statue. I said this thing comes in this gigantic box. I said it's only one layer box and it's really heavy. I'm sure the thing is about 30 kilos and it's almost a two-man job to carry this box. So let's do less talking and see what's inside. Let's just first turn this beast around and see what's inside. Get this aside, and as usual with XM Studios we have this black envelopes with the art print and the packaging guide. First we have the art print. Wow, beautiful art print here, nice, colorful. Hope you can see it. I'm not sure if it comes out. I mean, you have unusual color tone here. You see some lighter blues here. That's pretty unusual for XM Studio art prints, but it looks good. I like it very much. And we have the packaging guide. Seems like there are not too many pieces in this box, but for these few pieces they seem very big. And we have the QR code for the assembly video, but I don't think this is going to be a difficult statue to unbox. I mean to assemble, sorry. So let's put this aside too and let's get the box out. Okay, we have this huge, wow, this thing I'm sure it's like a meter long, but it's also not flat. So as usual we have this nice hardcover XM Studios boxes with this it's always solid, and let's just take this off. And as usual on the one side we have all the people involved in the statue production, and here on the other side just have a small picture, but this time also without any character description. So let's get all the pieces out and I'll see you there for the assembly.
شجع ترمبولي ويا دخيوان بولي يانا يانا شجع يانا يانا ويوجن فيا عجبك بوليكا بشانو ما وردان تهلا ويأدين وان جيراني ويأدين وان جيراني.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here, we've unboxed all the different pieces, and I can tell you, holy shit, like, holy shit. Like, I think I totally underestimated the statue. I knew I was expecting a big statue, but this? What the hell is this, man? We got Rhino here, man. This thing's as big as, I mean, it's just the size of a baby, man. This thing's just huge. Holy shit, like that. I mean, I had a friend who used to say always, holy shit, man. Landry, man, rest in peace, man. But this thing, really, all I can say is holy shit. And this base is just like crazily heavy. Like, I mean, taking this base out, I mean, the size of this base, like, that's what I love about XM Studios, man. I'm not disappointed. It's the opposite, man. I just find this so amazing, man. I mean, you have this crushed car by Rhino and in the ground, and this thing's just huge, man. Whew. Holy shit. And I mean, wow, we could just talk about that later, man. This is just something, man, that just, wow. I don't know, I mean, you can see from my reaction, man. Wow, holy shit, like. Okay, so let's start with the assembly. I believe the first part is to put Rhino into the base. And wow, I mean, the whole Rhino just comes in one whole piece, pretty much. And he has this one hell of a key and a peg. He goes in right here in the front where you see the hole. And one leg goes in there and the other one just goes into the dent. And just carefully push that in, and that just goes in with no issue, man. Can you still see me? I think I have to move him around. Wow. Wow, man, this thing is a hell of an eye catcher, guys. And next, I believe, should be this one huge wheel. I mean, the wheel is like, I mean, that's my hand and this is the wheel. I mean, the tire of the car, this thing is just huge. I mean, it almost feels like rubber, but I don't think it is. And that just goes in inside here on the side with a key and a magnet. Fits in, no issues. And we have the horn, and he goes in right here in the front with a magnet key. And that was it. So I think this was the simplest statue to assemble from XM Studios of all times. I know I said that last time for Rogue, but I'm telling you, this statue only came with just with 4 pieces, and he's already assembled. And wow, I mean, the size of this thing is just gigantic. I mean, he's not tall, but this statue just has so much presence. Wow. I totally underestimated this statue, guys. I didn't expect, especially the base, I didn't expect the base to be this big. I can understand the weight of it because it's got to kind of balance out the weight of the Rhino because he's leaning forwards, and it's got to keep him in place. Guys, man, whew. I mean, just, wow, I mean, this thing definitely is an eye catcher, guys. So, I mean, you can already see my reaction here, and I just take a few moments looking at the details, and I'll get back to you for the review. Okay, welcome back, everyone. As you've seen, we've already assembled the statue, and I've had a few moments looking at all the details, and guys, I'm still totally just blown away by this piece at first. Actually, to be honest with you, this was a statue I wasn't really convinced of getting. When I saw the pictures at first, I wasn't really too keen on getting it, but now that I have it here, I'm happy I got it because, trust me, honestly, I'm not a big fan of the character. I didn't really know too much about the character either. I mean, for me, he's not one of the top Spider-Man villains. But now that I have Rhino here, man, I can say I'm happy I have him in my collection, and he'll definitely be a great asset to my collection too. And as you can see, this statue has a lot of presence. It's not a tall statue, but it's pretty deep and wide too. And said before, like, the statue has a huge base. I mean, I love this base. That's one thing I love about XM Studio statues. They have all these detailed bases with so many things going on, and I think they did a great job again. As you can see here, you have this base. You have this crushed, like upside down taxi that Rhino just like ran over, and you can see you have this New York plate number in the front, and this yellow car. I don't know if it's a taxi or whatever it is. And you have this bright yellow. And one thing I realized, like, I mean, the yellow parts, like the body work of the car, it's all, when you touch it, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's like metal. That it's not a I mean, it's sculpted, but I believe it's like metal. Like when you touch it, it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like you're tapping on a can, like, so it feels like it's actually like a real car. And I don't know, maybe you can hear it, but you can see it's hollow, and it looks really great. And all the other parts, like the stone and everything, is sculpted, and only the bodywork of the car seems to be hollow inside. So it feels like you're never gonna. I mean, when you see the statue, you're not gonna realize that, but it just seems more realistic into the scene when you touch it. And here you have, as I said, that crushed car that's just like ran over, flipped around, upside down on the ground, and he just, on the left side, he just ripped out the one wheel of the car, and he just like crushes it in his left hand. His hands are pretty big too, and on the other side you have the other wheel's still there, but everything else inside the car is like totally flattened, and nothing's left over, and crushed into the ground all the way until the ground is broken of the New York streets. And you see all the suspensions, all the connecting mechanics of the car coming out. All those things are broken and looking great. And it's talking about the paint job on this car. I mean, the way they did the ground looks great by XM Studios as usual. And you see, and talking about the car itself, he has this nice yellow, and almost looks like a real car's. It's a real car's bodywork that's just been going through. I mean, all the dirt, all the weathering, and when you see on the picture, it looks like. You just take it back again. Like, see, it's just like everything is exploding behind Rhino, and that's also the way it looks like here. You can see some tones of the yellow are almost to red, as if like all the metal was heated up, and I think they did a great job there. And you see the grill, and when you see it, you don't see it like from there, but when you see like between the car and the ground, you can even see the main grill of the car, and on the other side here, the headlights that were just like broken out, and looking great. And if you see all this thing continuing, and looking at the underside of the car, you can see that it looks like real metal, and that looks just great. I think, and you can see all the details, like you see all the different individual screws of the car, looking great. And I think XM nailed it there to make the metal look like real metal. Only that the metal, I think, has a lot of texture. I'm not sure if the real car would have so much texture. I'm not sure about that, but I mean, I've never really seen a car from the bottom either, so I can't really judge that. So for me it looks almost more like stone metal kind of thing, something in the middle, because you still see on the edges you have this glossy, shiny parts that make it look like almost like, how should I say, like rusted metal. Maybe that's what's supposed to. The rust makes it have more texture. That's it probably. And you have this huge wheel in his hand, and Rhino coming to Rhino himself. I mean, they totally nailed the concept of Rhino. See this fusion of a human and a rhino like in one body, and you can see like immediately the texture of his skin is amazing. It looks like a real rhino, like this thick skin of a rhino that acts as an armor too, and that just goes all over his body, like especially on his back skin. It has even more texture, and so it goes just all the different shadings of the skin, like the different grays and lighter grays, darker grays. You have some blacks somewhere in between, looking great. And you see the abs like of him in the front here, and see all the different like muscles like coming out on his back and his shoulders, all over his body. You can see this guy is no joke. He's just pure muscle, angry to attack. And I love the way they did the nails, like his fingernails and his toenails. I mean, the toenails look more like spikes. I mean, just like ready to attack. I mean, all the weathering on those too, they're looking great. You have this dark brown going all the way to a kind of more ivory-like color, and you have the same thing going on the fingernails. And coming further up, you have the face. The expression of the face is just beautiful. You have him, since he's leaning forward, I believe you're gonna have to display the statue on at least on an eye level position, or a bit higher even, to really capture the expression on his face. Because if you don't see his expression like this, looking at the statue is almost pointless. Honestly, you're not gonna get the real feel for the statue. Because I think the portrait here is really what makes out the whole scene of this statue. So, I mean, you see like behind his face you have the head of the rhino, and you see the eyes of the rhino behind, and it's just like he just skinned the whole rhino and he put himself inside. And I mean, that's also what it is. And you have the horns, like they really look like a real horn of a rhino, and all the different textures, the weatherings, the dents, the damages, the scratches, everything are included here. And you see also this dark brown going all the way, changing into a lighter ivory-like color on the tip. Again, like the similar thing like as on the fingernails. And wow. So I mean, beautiful statue. And as I said, I mean, I can understand why this statue has such a heavy base. I mean, really, this base is really heavy, and it took me quite some energy to take it out. I'm sure the base is what makes up most of the statue's weight too, since of the engineering of the base. Since he's leaning forward, he has to key into the base so he doesn't fall over. And I doubt there will be any leaning issues on this statue, because the size of the key, and I mean the peg is just, it's so solid, and it's pretty long too, and nothing's gonna happen in the future for sure. And it's also a really tall statue too. And this has this huge, I mean, this amazingly dynamic pose is just phenomenal. And otherwise, talking about the size of the statue, as I said, it's not really a tall statue, but it's wide, it's deep, and it's got a lot of presence for sure. So let's start with the height of the statue. I believe the tallest part is right here on the front of his arm, and that's I believe it's pretty much exactly 50 centimeters, maybe 50 and a half. And let's talk about the width. It's hard to say where we're gonna put. I mean, you could angle him to a certain extent. I mean, let's just say like the widest part is maybe the outside of his arm all the way to this side of the base. And there we're going to be having like, let's just go this way. You have 50, maybe 53, maybe 53 or 54 centimeters. And in depth, I believe we have a similar thing going on here. So let's just put him like the front, I mean it's like the back of the base all the way to the front of his arm again. And here we have, I believe these are 50, I think it's about the same, 52 or 53 centimeters. I'm sure you're gonna need some space in terms of depth to display the statue, since the statue, the base of the statue has a huge footprint, and you will definitely need some space, not in, as I said, not in terms of height, but in depth and width. So let's, as I said, or as you've seen, I've got the statue with another plaque, and I love these plaques as usual, and let's just take this plaque out and see what it looks like. And beautiful. Just take this plastic off. You have again this beautiful plaque again with the expression of Rhino from his right side. Pretty much the way you're looking at him like this. You can see him looking great, beautiful. And we'll definitely be displaying him this way. We still have some plastic things stuck to it, but just leave it this way here. And all I can say is, guys, if you're planning to get the statue, or if you were unsure about getting the statue the same way I was, I can tell you guys, go out and get this guy. You're not going to be disappointed for sure, and just make sure you have enough space for him. I just want to say that. And so, if you don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. And all I can say now is, God bless you, God bless our statues, and have a nice day.
Yana yana, what to be Oirutanya kutu wardantala, wina nauni intura, wina nauni intura. Eirutanya kutu bontuntala, wina nauni intura, wina nauni intura. Afana somana wardantala, silunga duni intura, silunga duni intura. Turumbule, shaka turumbule, waya da xewan.